Hello, my name is Jemmy, and we're here to build and review some Legos. I did get a new one today. It is from the Botanical collection. Right here, Botanical collection. This is the Wild Bouquet. And it looks like here's the back of the box. As you can see, you can put it in your own flower vase. They do have an orchids in the Botanical collection, which does have a Lego flower vase included with the product. This one was bought in Japan. You can buy it at the Lego store, but I got this one at Toys R Us. Yes, in Japan we do still have Toys R Us. So this one was about 7,000 yen. Based on the exchange rate, it could be between $50 to $60. This one was on 10% off sale, and it looks like there are 939 pieces in this box, but usually they give you a few extra, which is great in case you ever lose a piece or you want to save some for later builds. So let's get started with this building. And I'm going to fast forward it for you guys after we'll review it. And I'll put it in my flower vase so you can see what it looks like. So here's the box, you can see it. Brand new. And let's get started. So it looks like we do have the instruction manual. We're going to take a look at this and get started and see how difficult this build is. It does say that it is for 18 plus on the box. And let's see if it will actually be difficult. Okay, and if you open your instruction book, you can see there is a person of the designer right there. It says that it is Milan Majd, I believe the name is. And it looks like there's a quote here: "Wild about flowers, whether you are growing your own Lego botanical collection or this is your first Lego flower arrangement, you are probably as wild about flowers as we are. This bouquet is a fresh mix of flowers that you might pick for yourself in a field or in a garden, and we paired the colors and complementary species from all over the world to celebrate our planet's biodiversity and the soothing beauty we cherish in nature. Enjoy building." That is a nice note. Hello everybody. So it looks like for pack number 1, we will be building the leather leaf fern, the cow's parsley or Queen Anne lace, and the Welsh poppy. So those are the 3 designs for pack 1. And there's the description if you want to pause and read it. You can read them. And there we go. So that is what the first ones that we'll be making. I'm going to get started on these and we'll see how difficult it is to make the first one. So here we go. It looks like for part 1 you do need 2 of the stems that were provided for you. So you want to make sure you have your pack of stems handy as well. Okay, so good job. We just did the first part, and it looks like when you do the first part, like they said, you do make the 3 plants. So we've got the ferns. You make 3 of them. There was no extra parts that came with these ones. So if they do break or you do lose a part, you will have to call the Lego store and have it replaced. They don't have any extra for these ones. It also looks like we do make 2 of the yellow flowers right here. They do look pretty good, pretty lifelike, I would say. These ones, you do actually get 1 replacement part. You get an extra part, this white part on the top here, in case you do lose that. That is the only extra that you do get for this part 1 for the yellow flowers. You will also have, for the white ones, looks like you do get 2 extra parts. You get 1 of the white flowers and 1 of the green things that you put the white flowers on. 1 of these ones. So as a review for this one, I thought that overall it was pretty easy to build, but with the white flowers, this little green part, and I understand why they gave you an extra piece here, these are very, very flimsy for Legos. So if you end up pushing too hard, connecting the flower to the green part, it could actually bend or break. Compared to other Legos that I've done, this hasn't been really a problem. This is the first time I've seen it, and it's just because it's so small. Once you connect it to another one, it is a little bit stronger though, but be aware putting the white flowers on could bend or break these fairly easy, I would say, and that's something that you want to keep your eye out when you're doing those. So if you're doing it with a younger child, just be sure that they are aware that that could happen. So you may want to do the white flowers for them if you are doing it with a younger child. Look-wise, I do say that they do look pretty, real-like flowers. Yeah, they do look pretty lifelike as a Lego flower compared to other brands that you might find. And I would say that the first group that we did would look really nice in a bouquet. The white ones, they did have a little bit of flexibility where you were combining these 2 parts so that you could kind of make them look a little bit different. So my white flowers might look a tad bit different than your white flowers would. But that is just how you would arrange them. So some of them are close together, some of them far apart. Make some of the white flowers taller, some of them shorter. You could probably actually, if you have a smaller vase, not use as many of these ones on the white one, or for the fern part, because these ones you did build yourself. You could probably use less of these if you wanted to have them a little bit shorter for a smaller vase. If you do have a larger vase, you would want to maybe add some more if you had some extra in your supply. Okay, so let's move on to part 2. We'll get started with that, and then we'll take a look and review. So let's get started. So here we go. We do have instructions for part 2. It looks like we're going to be making some lavender. Here's the little insert for it. If you want to pause and read, you can. And then we're going to be looking at some cornflowers. I think that the cornflowers look very beautiful. I do hope we get an extra part for that, because I would love to have just an extra piece for my collection right there. There is the insert. If you did want to read it, please stop in before we proceed. Okay, so let's get started on part 2. Okay, so it looks like we just finished part 2. It did take a little bit longer than part 1. There were a little bit more details in part 2. So it looks like you do have the blue flowers right here. They didn't really give you any extra blue parts except for this little wrenchy kind of looking part and this one tiny blue flower that you could use in place of one of the white flowers if you chose to from part 1. So you have these ones. The little wrenchy parts when you were making the flowers were a little bit difficult to handle at some point and didn't really connect too strongly to the Lego parts, so they would easily come off. It looks like if you don't touch them, they'll be fine though, but just so you are aware of that when you are building these. And then the other ones that you put on directly into the holes in the purple parts, those ones were pretty hard to get in there, so it did take a lot of force. You might end up hurting your fingers after doing this one. That was the same for the white flower that you made. The same kind of idea. Some are clicked on with the wrenchy part handle right here. And then the other ones were pushed into a hole. The ones that were pushed into the hole were a little bit hard to get in there, so you did have to use a little bit of force to get them in there. So there is that. So those were kind of the same design styles there with these ones. So then you also have the lilacs right here, the purple flowers. These ones, the explanation on how to build the flower part wasn't that clear in the picture, and at first I wasn't sure how to do it, but I did figure it out. So you just have to attach them on, and there was no specific direction on which way you wanted to put them, so you could put them up, down, sideways, any way that you wanted your lilac flower to look like pattern-wise. You also did get one extra purple piece that came with that set, and one of the gold connector pieces. Then it looks like on top you do have the purple flowers right here, which is a nice touch. So overall, I would say I do like the lavender flowers in this set overall. They stay on the best compared to the other flowers in part 2, and the color-wise, I think it worked very well. The ones in part 2 for the other flowers, you can see there's like 2 different colors greens here, and some people don't mind that. I found it a little bit awkward that there were 2 different color greens on the flowers. The lavender ones were all the same color, so there was no different differentiation in color, which was nice. It was a little bit hard to get the brown and gold ones onto that white beam when we were building the lavender flowers, but once you got those on there, these were pretty easy to build. So let's move on to part 3. Before we do, I want to show you the extra parts you get with part 2. Part 2, you did get quite a lot more than part 1. So it looks like we have, can't really see them, but there's quite like a lot here. Ugh. Sorry, my camera's not very good, but you can kind of hear the sound, and you can see all these little like connector pieces. So you got quite a lot of those. It'll be great if you're doing another build and you need extra connectors for some reason. So it looks like with part 3, we are building just one flower. It is called the Lupin flower. No, it is not the same Lupin as Professor Lupin from Harry Potter. But here's the little summary of it. If you wanted to read it, you can pause. Okay, let's get started with part 3. we changed locations. So now we just finished part 3. Hold on, let me go get the pieces. Okay, so I'm back with part 3. You make these 2 flowers. One has 2 parts on the bottom that you add on, so if you don't want to, you don't have to add these 2. And this one would have 3 extra pieces on the bottom. So this one wasn't difficult to build, but this top part here makes it very difficult for the flower to stay together, so I had a hard time making it stick, as you saw in the video of me assembling it. So I would suggest when you're making it, make the inner top part and then make the outer top part. It's going to be difficult with the way the pieces are connecting to these pink pieces here, but after that, the rest of the pieces seem to work really well. These 2 flowers right here are pretty top heavy, so probably when you put them in the vase, they might lean a little bit. That should be okay. I'm sure Lego has designed it that way, but they are pretty heavy on the top compared to the other ones that we did make. So far I would say that probably part 1 was the easiest so far, but we are going to do part 4 and see how that build is. You do get quite a lot of extra pieces here. Usually they're just the connector pieces, kind of see them in my hand a little bit. So let's get started with part 4. We'll see how that goes, and then we'll put it in my flower vase and see how it looks on the wall. So here we go. So it looks like for part 4 we're making this tall blue flower. It looks very pretty, and it looks like we're making these 2, a yellow one and a pink one. The blue one is called a larkspur, and the yellow and pink one are just 2 different colored daisies called gerbera daisies. I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I butchered the name. So if you want to pause, you can read the little insert there. And here's the one for the daisies. Those will be our last flowers that we'll be making. So let's get started on those. Hi, so we just finished part 4 of making the bouquets. That was when the daisy and this blue flowers. So the blue flower was not too difficult. It's pretty stable, not too top heavy, which is nice. The daisies are also pretty light, but the petals are kind of temperamental. So you want to be careful that you don't move them too much or they will fall off. So overall, I would say that probably the easiest one and the best quality was the part 1 that we did for the flowers. Then part 4, the next one I would say is probably part 2 and then part 3. Part 2 and part 3, those flowers were the most temperamental. We didn't get too many leftover pieces from part 4. I think there was only 4 pieces that were extra in part 4. So let's put them in my vase. I have this nice Copenhagen vase, Royal Copenhagen vase, that I got from my sister-in-law as a housewarming gift. It's very nice vase there. So let's put these flowers in there. You can arrange them. I think the vase that I have is kind of small for it, so we'll just put them in there and see how it goes. I might have to take the bottom parts out, but they say you can mix and match your bouquets any way that you would like. So I might need to put these in a bigger vase because I don't think they're going to stay very well in this one. But I'll do that later. So these are all the flowers that we made. And let's see if I can kind of put them in here without breaking them. Oh. That's okay. We had a little bit of an accident and the camera flipped back. But that's okay. That happens sometimes. Let's see if we can get them all in there. So some of the flowers are a little bit larger. The white ones are staying in there pretty good. Yeah, some of the flowers are a little bit larger. Let's see if I can get the ones that will stay in there. Okay, the ferns are nice. Okay, so we have the yellow ones in there. And the ferns, that's good. Okay, we got these ones in there. A lot of them don't want to stay because the vase is too small. Yeah, see, the blue flowers don't want to stay on here, but that's okay. So overall, I would say that for the price of like $55 that you're getting, they do look nice. And if you have a taller vase, these would work really well. They don't work particularly well in the smaller vase. Some of the flowers are quite top heavy and temperamental, so if you break them, like if you touch them slightly, they'll break. So overall, I would say that, you know, I would give this product probably like a 6 out of 10. It was fun to do. It did take quite a long time, and some of the pieces were a little bit harder to put in. But if you did receive this as a gift, it's a very nice gift. Or if you wanted to buy this and make it and give it as a gift to somebody, I'm sure that if they enjoyed Legos that they would like this. There's no maintenance required, maybe other than dusting a little bit, but there's no water, no food for these flowers, obviously because they're made with Legos. So that was it. So the last thing that I like to do with my Legos is I have a Lego box. I put my extra pieces in there. So this is my Lego box that I made. Got at the dollar store, and then I put the Lego face on it. So this is where my extra pieces go from all the Lego things that I have made before. My first video I made that I put on the channel was for my Hufflepuff one, and I do have those extra pieces in here too. So here's my extras. There's the extra pieces for it. They did include this in there, and this was not explained what this was. Yeah, so they have this, but it never is included in the instructions where to use this. So if you guys know what this is, please comment and let me know. And if you have any ideas for the next video, please comment, let us know. And maybe we'll do that Lego set next, or if there's any toys. Okay, so have a good night. My name is Jemmy, and I hope we'll see you soon.